Alrighty, good morning, everybody. How's it going? How was your weekend? How was your Easter? Everybody enjoy Friday being closed for the main market? I was here doing a crypto update, at least in the morning, and interesting. If you didn't watch it, maybe you should go watch it. Check it out. I talked about, as Goose said, he learned more in that little 50-minute session on crypto than most people teach you in a whole lot more time than that. Anyway, lots of little nuance that I talked about as far as how the crypto market works and everything. So glad to have you this morning. Hey, John, Kimberly, my lovely wife, George, Al, good to see everybody. Remember, if you want to chat with me, you got to be a subscriber. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell while you're at it to get notified when I go live every morning. And on Tuesday, I do it twice. That way you can stay up to date on these morning updates. So anyway, let's jump into some stuff. As always, all trading involves a substantial risk of loss. I may be full of crap, so past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. This presentation here, intended to be informational, educational, and fun, is not any kind of recommendation to buy or sell any financial instrument. If you desire that personal financial advice, you need to hire and consult a financial advisor who has your best interest in mind. With all that said, let's pop into some charts. S&P 500 just kind of squiggling at the breakout point. Looks like we're getting a little pullback into the open. And as the title, the thumbnail and title suggested, let's talk about this. CTAs, this is trading algos, computerized trading algos, CTA, computerized trading algo. If you look it up on Investopedia, it also stands for Commodities Trading Advisor. That's not what CTAs is when we're in modern trading lingo. So what we have is the bullish, bearish, and neutral case are all showing buys, according to Bank of America's global research right here. They're modeling the S&P 500 trend and the NASDAQ, and both of them are showing net buys. Now, even the bear case, just barely buying, and NASDAQ on the bear case is buying substantially. On the neutral case, getting quite a pop, and on the bullish case, just eking out just a little bit on the S&P, and about the same on NASDAQ. So the outperformance it looks like right now for CTAs would be on S&P 500, based on these charts right here. And they're they've been bearish, so these are just coming back up towards zero. So they are net bearish right now. Even NASDAQ, big tech, CTAs, computerized trading algos, are net bearish, but looking like they could pop back above on the neutral and bullish case. So they could be going long, whereas the CTAs are still net short and going to be net short for the next week or so on the prediction. Not sure how far out this goes. Like I said, this is from Bank of America Global Research. This is not something I created. Anyway, hey Arthur, glad to see you. So any questions on this before I move on? This is just giving us a prediction of what the trading algos are doing. Hey Pat, good morning. And yeah, so this doesn't necessarily move the market, but it does help the market go. So if we're bearish, this is going to provide support to the market because there's no huge CTA selling unless we make a significant move down, likely. So right now, the way they're, what's funny is, people program these things up, and then people like Bank of America Global Research watch what happens as the market unfolds and try to model what the algos are going to do in bullish, bearish, and neutral cases, and this is what we get right here, an estimate based on their model. So interesting, huh? I mean, this is like the conglomerate of all the algos out there, and since that's like upwards of 80% of all the trading volume each day, it's beneficial to be able to model what they're planning to do, or what they're programmed to do. They don't really plan anything. They just program to do stuff. So, hey, morning, Keenan. Morning. All right, so the summary here is bearish. Even even on a bearish, it's positive for the next week. Yeah, these are out for a week. So, and Russell 2000 short position to hold firm, except in a bullish scenario. So there's Russell still showing signs of being beaten down. Now another one I wanted to cover here this morning: top banks that are uninsured. Now, this coming out from Elements, Visual Capitalist. This is interesting too. We've got SVB and Signature Bank up here have both failed companies. We've got BNY Mellon and State Street Bank coming up here still in the 90s. This is the percent of uninsured deposits that they have on the books. You can kind of see a blob of different the banks where they sit as far as assets and deposits. Total assets. So you've got these two failed coming up here. You've got a nice little chunk coming in right in there. You've got this nice big bank coming in down here that we may know, JP Morgan Chase. And this is kind of like their size of bank. So Citibank coming in up there with 73% uninsured deposits. Yeah, Citibank has a lot of risk for being a big HSBC right there too, coming up not far behind Citibank. That is true, Goose. Morning, Goose. And looking on down here, U.S. Bank, Chase. Looking for other big ones. Goldman Sachs coming in there at 46%. These ones under 50%, as Goose and I were talking about, probably less likely to have major problems, but still seeing that kind of high ratio of uninsured deposits. And the little summary right here: about $7 trillion in uninsured deposits across the top 30 banks that are on this list. So, morning, Patrick. Glad to see you. So, just want everybody to be aware. As I've said for 3 weeks now, 4 weeks, the banking crisis is not over yet. Now, the news out on the hot sheets, mainstream media. This is all banking crisis 2.0 getting started. I don't see it happening right now. This is a slow moving cruise ship wreck. We can see the boats coming toward each other. Nobody's flinching. Nobody's flinching. It's like a big game of chicken. So the wreck comes later. So now CRE is looking distressed. That's what I talked about a couple last week. That's commercial real estate, and that's why I went short on ARE. And I don't think I talked about that last Thursday. So here's your ES. This is S&P 500 futures. Down here was March 13th, and we've just been banging in this channel. That was the FOMC. That was the reaction slightly after. Here's what we've been doing since, and coming in this morning and getting a little drop, but still above the low that we made on Thursday. Above the low from Thursday. Now, there was some low volume. You can even see them right there. And these little low volume, these are volume candles based on price. There were some little low volume sections in there. We will more than likely go back and backfill those low volume sections. ES, the CTAs, whatever you want to say, whoever's the majority trader out here, they like to keep this relatively balanced. All right. So you will see volume backfilling. Now, how do I know this? Well, it's just something I've observed over the last, I've been trading futures for 12 years now, watching ES almost every single day for the last 12 years. Just one of those things that happens to happen, happens to happen. It's just one of those things. Now, there is another little volume devoid right up here around 41.27. So that is kind of likely to go get backfilled also, which was the low before the big spike that we saw on Friday, right before the market shut down at 9:15 in the morning. So those are all key levels to keep an eye on today. All right, looking at the live charts. Pop over here, S&P 500 not open yet. ES getting a little bit of retrace there, on the daily time frame, and hanging in there. The kind of sketched in the bottom of the trend line here. Looks different depending on how you scale the chart. We did not break out above that resistance that we saw back here in February. So charging back up, may retest this blue box, may try to push through the bottom of that trend line. Retest that blue where we topped out back in March, early March. Had that spike up, and then dropped out. That's right off the back of the FOMC, right? FOMC? No. Yeah. No. I don't remember what that was. Too many news things. Now, big important things to know this week. We've got CPI on Wednesday before the market opens and PPI on Thursday before the market opens. We are digesting the jobs report that came out on Friday. There was a little bit of market movement in the futures, but most participants could not participate because we didn't get a regular open. So Al says, so if a company fails to sell all its assets to repay a loan. Oh, he's talking to Goose. Yeah. Hey, Goose. Al's chatting with you there. Well, there is risk in CRE. So why don't I just pull up ARE real quick? Now, this is something I posted in Discord. Looking for this one to stay below 128 and get an extension down to about 100. 100. This is a real estate investment trust, right? REIT, however you want to say it. And they're all about commercial real estate. Like this whole real estate investment trust is commercial real estate. So if commercial real estate is going to become distressed more than it already is, this is likely to see more downside. As long as we stay below 128, it's likely to see an extension down to around 100. 100. It could go lower. There are more targets down here. And this is just based on the market roadmap. That same thing, same pattern I talk about all the time. It's just on the downside. And why am I kind of liking this one? Because it did this perfect little bounce off of these fibs, like 1272 right back to the prior low, finding resistance, going higher, and consolidating, which can lead to a rollover. Now, if we break above 128, now's not the time. It may rally right back up here to 145, 150 before we see it roll over again. So, how long? I bought out to 2025. I believe it was. So, I think it was. No, that was September. I went out to September on that one. Yeah. Looking for it to happen in the next few months, but it could take 3 to 5 months. September, December. I think I'm expecting it to happen by September. Could last longer. So, discombobulated this morning. I got too much bouncing around. So this is not a fast. This is not. I mean, it could go fast. I mean, you see what happened right here. Went from 145 down to 120. 20-point drop. We could see a 20-point drop and get right down to 100 in, that was 2 days. So this thing could go in 2 days, but give it a little time. All right. Moving on. Yeah, December. I think December this year. You could go longer, but I went with an inverse. What's called an inverse synthetic shares. So instead of having long shares, I'm short shares essentially. What I did was I bought a put, sold a call, and then sold a higher call, or bought a higher call. Excuse me. And so it's a bull, or it's a bear call credit spread on top of a long put. Yeah, Bud. Well, I mean, let's talk about actual movers today. Bud coming up to the resistance, probably going to come back down to the roadmap line. I mean, just looking at it, they've took a political stance, somewhat political, and lots of people not so happy with them. Now, if you think you're just going to not buy Budweiser or Bud Light and everything's hunky-dory, you should go look at the 400 brands that Anheuser-Busch InBev controls. I had some clients in here last week talking about it, and one client says, "Well, blank, I don't know how you drink any beer if you didn't buy it from Anheuser-Busch." So, I mean, there is a significant number of brands that they control: Modelo, Corona, Michelob, they bought SAB Miller a few years back, so they own all the Miller brands. Natural Ice, Shock Top. I mean, literally, you walk down like 3/4 of, or 2/3 of the aisle is Anheuser-Busch. About another third of the aisle is Coors, Molson Coors, and then you have a few independent brands that are still out there. So I'm not getting into the political stuff. What you can go Google that; they're all over the Google. Anyway, not 90 Ice. Yeah, exactly. Natty and Natty Ice, Natty Light, Natty Ice. Anyway, GFAI getting a nice little pop here on the AI hype. Are they going to break out? Still got resistance right up here. So not trying to get political on Bud. So, like I said, we can talk about it in Discord. I'm not going to talk about it on YouTube. You can't really. Ew. Anyway, yeah, Monsters and Vodka. There you go. We got the hard monsters now, but Goose, I don't know if you see it. You got these hard monsters now. I kept the can in the floor here, so I don't even have to put vodka in it and just buy the ones. Anyway, looks like the market just opened. GFAI resistance right up there. PXD is a buyout. Was it ExxonMobil? Yeah, ExxonMobil. Preliminary talks to acquire PXD. So the upside is limited to whatever price they agree to buy this out for. That little pop doesn't look like it's going to be the buyout price. I'm going to assume it's something higher, like 260 maybe, 250, 260. We'll see. A lot of shareholders, I'm sure, would like it to be over 275, maybe 280, but that's doesn't look highly likely to happen on this chart. Something around 250 more likely would be a buyout price. And that leaves limited trading opportunity, so be careful on that one. Whatever the buyout price is, it's going to come up just a little bit shy of that and hang out there until the deal closes, and it'll eventually close that gap, and then you'll get the buyout price. TSM, yeah, on its way down to the roadmap line. That's where we're headed. And Tesla looks like it's on that path. I can do the move right there. If there's only one little chance right here, is that it saves right in this area where it is, between the 618 and the 786 right here. If it holds above like 173, we can go higher. If it starts breaking below 173, right there's where it's going. So the question in Discord last week, JT, are you still bullish on Tesla? Not right now. I'm neutral with a slight bearish expectation right down to this 145 area. We get there and bounce, then it's time to go seriously bullish. We bounce off of that and start heading back up, you can get a big move up. So keep coming back. I'll update you as we progress here. All right, HZ, I'm not even sure what they're talking about on this one. Another therapeutic, biotech, whatever. SPGI, S&P Global, looks like some kind of, I don't even know, commercial services, financial planning. I don't know, that looks kind of bearish. These few were getting talked about on StockTwits, so I pulled them in. DLR, looks like heading down. BTMD, biotech, nursing management, hospital, like health services junk. Let's see. Where will we chart? Yeah, resistance right at the 1272. It can push right up to 6.9 and then probably going to retrace back to 5. NFE, that's consolidating at the lows. That looks pretty bad. There is holding right here is okay. We break back below 26, probably heading back to 19 on NFE. PKX, that's looking for extensions. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, right up in the. That one's probably going to go retrace at some point here. Can't go sky high. So. I can bring up Ford. It's not on the morning movers. It's not moving today so far. So MU still stuck, even though getting a nice pop back up. It's got to break out over 64 to get going today. So not a lot of opportunity, even though we got a pre-market pop. Looks like the news, nothing much on news. So just getting a volatile little pop. Tends to do this too. If you look right over here, did the same sort of thing. Popped up from down here, right back up in here. Yeah, so capped in with that. If we get a move up through 65, watch out for it to get some extensions higher because it's hit that 1, 2, 3, 4 times in a row. AMGN, yeah, potentially breaking out. Potentially. I got lots of stuff on this chart, so let's kind of clean it up here a little bit. See if we can get a little. Got resistance right up here around 268. Target up here, longer term. For Amgen, yeah. That one gets about 270. 268, 270. Probably headed on the path up here to 320-ish. GBX probably retracing back down. Looks like got a little overexcited. Hadn't been able to hold above the roadmap line. And is slightly an uptrend, but I don't know. That does not look highly confident. Western Digital still below the roadmap line, below this consolidation. Not super bearish yet, or super bullish yet. VTLE still on a downward go. Even though these were movers up today, not a lot of this looks super bullish. So, Cito Royalties, that's going to be a dividend payer, I'm sure. Yeah, almost a 10% dividend. Wow, it's a big move on a 10% dividend payer, 6%. And short Tesla, of course. If Tesla's going down, this one's going up. TSLQ makes sense. Probably has resistance right up in this area. And that's probably going to correspond to a push down into that 45. We may get a little bit higher and then it roll over. So watch that one for limited upside. TGTX, another biotech, pharmaceutical. Yeah, these ones just move. I have to caution. All my predictions do not always work out on the biotechs. So 21, yeah, we can see 21, 23 on the upside. It is a entry above this prior high right over here at 18. So you can pick up a couple bucks on that one potentially. If it doesn't get above this high, it's probably going down, hit the roadmap line down here around 12. CE, Clancy Corp, I don't even know what that is. Celanese. Looks bearish to me. Maybe get an extension lower. And that's a Goose. That looks just like the Japanese yen chart we pulled up over the weekend, or on the holiday there. Schwab, last one on the bull list. Looks like it's almost down to the target here at 47. Could see a bounce. Or could extend lower, down to 40. So be careful on that one. AUDC. Oh, that looks horrible. Big gap down. There's no limit here. It can go out of business. So we bottomed out back here at 892. So it may come back and retest the COVID low, looks like. If I could draw a straight line. Yeah. And NAAS coming off the high just a little bit. When they tend to go exponential, they tend to come make a big retrace in here. So this one can retrace right back to the roadmap line. Now it can extend higher, sure. Like that's not a limiter, but 3618. 686 would be the most extreme move. There's like a something like a 2% chance it goes just straight up to that, and then it's going to get a heck of a retrace if it just moves like that. So alrighty, 1 for 5 reverse split, and then you see reverse splits not bullish, and it went to a lower low. So anyway, MSGM Motorsports game. This one's been on here a few times lately because of these crazy pops. We've got resistance right up here. That was a wicked retrace. And then retrace blew everything away, so I would be careful. Resistance at the roadmap line here can return to the lows at 2. See you, Al. And cold natural gas. This is short, ultra short natural gas going down a little bit. So natural gas, and if the keyboard will work with me, that's cool. NG 1 exclamation point. And I'll get the forward in just a second. And just consolidate in the bottom. Probably going to get extension down to 175, if not 150 on natural gas. That could make cold pop pretty significantly. I may consider adding a long on this one. And might get out to 105. All right, Ford. Like I said, not really moving today. Not big anyway. 0.08% so far. Just stuck in this triangle. Watermelon seed squeeze, what I call it. Probably likely to consolidate right on out here. At some point, it's gonna pop. Does it pop up? Does it pop down? I'm biased popping up, but I can't say right now. These are unpredictable squeeze patterns. You can say it's a bull flag. You can say it's a bear flag. You can say it's a consolidation before a higher. Not a lot happening there. Not a lot that's telling us what's going on. Now, this is likely to play out like this, where this initial range right here is the next move. Now, does it pop up and go up to 20, or does it pop down and come down near 7? All right. So at some point, it's going to pop. And the two choices, or the two likely scenarios. Oops, moving the wrong thing. Those are the two likely, the range here. So likely to hang out in this range. That's a huge range, 7 to 19. So when we pop out, it's likely to do that move. All right, that's Ford. Not a lot happening right now. I was much more optimistic when I put out the video back in October. Now we're just kind of consolidating, and it's lackluster and less awesome. So bias for the day. Zoom back up. We didn't really hit NASDAQ either. Like I said, ES probably a little bearish down to, but if we reach down and touch where these highs were, watch out for a strong bullish reaction. In Q, just consolidating back to the bottom of the box where we broke out, and that also corresponds to these highs from back here. Russell still looking kind of bearish, may come back to retest these lows one more time. So just kind of a little bit bearish unless we get a drop down to support, and then I'll flip probably bullish. That's what we got for the day. All right, everybody, dollar getting a little pop here. May retrace back up to this zone one more time before it rolls over and goes lower. Yeah, have fun playing golf, Patrick. See everybody later. I'll be in Discord all day. If you want to come join me, links in the description. Thanks, everybody.